Hey, fourth grade friends, this is Miss Stacy. We are going to be practicing dividing using the area model and partial quotients. In fourth grade, we are not using the long division method that we all learned when we were younger. They will not learn that until they get into middle school. So I know you want to help them and show them the long division, but we are required to use the area model with partial quotients. Sorry about that. Although at the end of the year, when we are very comfortable with all of these methods, I will be showing connections that they will make using the skills that they're going to be having in 5th grade and 6th grade, including the area model compared to the partial quotients compared to long division and all that. So they'll at least get to see a connection between all of them. So when we are dividing using the area model, we have to draw our rectangle. Make sure that you are drawing your box as big as you need to so that you're not cramming numbers in because you're going to be subtracting in here. So you're going to need room to write about 3 or 4 numbers on top of each other because you're going to have room for regrouping and writing the problem and then solving the problem. So make sure that there's plenty of space here and plenty of space going across depending on how big your dividend is. So you will have in 4th grade a 1-digit divisor in all of these problems that we are dividing. But you could have a 2-digit dividend, a 3-digit dividend, or a 4-digit dividend. So right now we're going to practice a 2-digit dividend divided by a 1-digit divisor. So our divisor will be on the left side of the model. I tell them to box in their dividend, so that reminds them that they are going to use the dividend to put it inside the box down here. So we have a 75, which is a 2-digit number. So that means that we're going to start off with 2 columns. Now that doesn't mean that we will use all of the columns, and sometimes you will have to add columns to finish dividing. So we're going to move our 75 dividend into our area model, giving ourselves room for regrouping and subtracting below. So the first thing that you want to focus on is this 6. You should know your 6's, and if you are really good at multiplying all of your basic facts, this is going to be so much easier. Plus, all of the skills that you're going to be learning after this are needing to know your multiplication facts very fluently. So we want to take a look at 75, but we're going to focus on the 7. We know that the 7 is in the tens place. This is one method. I'm going to show you another one in a moment. Okay, so I know that this is in the tens place. So we're going to use and make a list of whatever we need to try to multiply times 6 to get close to our 75. Since 75 has a tens place, I'm going to start over here multiplying 6 times 10 because it's always easy to multiply by 10, 100, and 1,000. So we go where it's more comfortable to us. Okay, so 6 times 10 is 60. It's very close to 75. I'm going to see what I can do with 6 times 20. Okay, so 6 times 2 is the basic fact. 6 times 2 is 12 times another 10 is 120. That's too much. I'm going to use 6 times 10 for 60. Our 6 times 10 would be 6 times 10 goes on top of the model. And 6 times 10 is 60, so we write the 60 below the 75 to subtract. Okay, we have 15. Now, we know that 15 is larger than 6, and we cannot have a remainder that is equal to or larger than our divisor. So that means that we have to divide again. So we circle our answer and we move it to the next column and we divide again. Well, we know that we can't multiply 6 times 10 again because 60 is way too much. So now we go to our basic facts that we do know. So I know that 6 does not multiply times a regular whole number to get 15, but I do know that 12 is a multiple of 6, and it is very close to 15. So I would have 6 times 2 to give me my 12. So I will use 6 times 2 equals 12. Subtract. We have 3 and 0. Ask yourself again, is 3 a reasonable remainder for 6 as a divisor? The answer is yes, because 3 is less than 6. So this was what we will do. We will write the remainder and we will circle it. Now we have finished dividing because we're ready with the remainder. We have to take our two partial quotients and add them together, and that will give us a quotient of 12. So these are our partial quotients added together to get our quotient. We're going to circle the quotient. We've already circled the remainder. Connect them because we know we need both parts to include in our answer. And then we would check it by multiplying, which we'll do in just a minute. Okay, another way that you can try to figure out the answer is writing it just as we did earlier, setting it up. If you know your sixes really well, you know that 75 is not a factor, is not a multiple of 6, but we know our 6 times 12, and 6 times 12 is 72, which is very close to 75. So we can use 6 times 12 to give us 72, which is better than using just the 10. But the reason we use the 10 is because maybe we didn't know 6 times 12 would get us there a little faster. So 5 minus 2 is 3, 7 minus 7 is 0. Is 3 a reasonable remainder for 6? Yes, because 3 is less than 6. Circle our remainder, circle our quotient, connect them, because they will be our answer with 12 remainder 3. We don't need to use the other column, so we're just going to leave it alone. Now, for us to check with multiplication, we know 6 times 12, because it's our basic fact, is 72. We will then add our remainder of 3, add our placeholder 0. This is 5 and 7, and 75 matches our dividend. So we know we have solved it correctly. Okay, we are going to do a 3-digit dividend divided by a 1-digit divisor in the next video.